Hello and welcome, my beautiful friends. Welcome to Inspired Energies. We're going to pull 3 cards today and take a look at the energy. And I got a new tarot deck. It's called the Curious Travels Tarot Deck, and I've never used it before. We're going to pull 1 tarot card and get the meaning of that. We're going to pull a secret manifestation card, and we're going to pull an enchanted heart card, because we always want to keep our heart in mind in everything that we do, right? You want to be heart-led in your life, and you want to use your brain as a tool. So let's get started. So the first card we have is Gateway. Sometimes life knows you are ready before you do. It's time. Cross the threshold with courage and confidence. I am ready for my next adventure. So the question is, have you been thinking about something? Or have you been saying to yourself, geez, why am I feeling so not motivated? Maybe you need to start focusing on what's next and a new adventure, right? I love that. Life is an adventure, right? Like, we want to think about the Fool card in the tarot is where, you know, you start on a new path and you're basically have total and complete faith in yourself and in the universe to support you on that path. And that in and of itself, just getting started and having faith, is the juice that you need to keep going. So the next card we're going to pull is the Manifestation Secret. And this one says, kindness is a win-win. I love that. I love the kindness movement. If you think unkind thoughts about someone, you will experience those unkind thoughts manifested in your life. So if you think about it, are you like mad at somebody right now? I know anger is really, really hard once we get angry at somebody. And I think it's really important to let yourself feel your feelings. But once you start tipping over into, I want something unkind to be happening to that other individual, you're kind of casting a spell on yourself because you're holding yourself in that vibration, right? So let me finish this card. You cannot harm another with your thoughts. You can only harm you. So we really have to, like, again, this is what this channel is about. You have to really think about, you have to really be the observer of your thoughts, right? Like, this is not new. Today, maybe like 10 years ago, you know, this was a new kind of thinking, but it's not new today to realize that we are the owner of our thoughts, and it's super important for us to be in control of how we direct them. Now it says, if you think kind thoughts about others, guess who receives the benefits? You receive the benefits, okay? So we definitely want to be like on our way to our next adventure. And the way to do that is to, if you're having problems with other people, wish them well, feel your feelings, go like punch a pillow and scream your heart out in the middle of the woods if you need to, because that really works to get the freaking anger out of your body. Trust me. I think the hardest part is finding a place where you can be alone and do that, so people don't think you're being attacked by a wild animal or something. But you want to be open to your next adventure. And if you don't know what that next adventure is, I would say start being on the lookout for it, okay? So start being on the lookout for that and live in kindness as you go. Be part of the kindness movement. Now, on that note, I am just going to shuffle these a little bit more. And these cards are completely new, so who knows what is going to happen here. I know what tarot is, but I don't necessarily know what these cards are. So let's take a look. All right, so this is the 5 of Swords. Now, the 5 of Swords, I think, speaks directly to what we were just talking about, right? We might be in a situation where we have had a battle in our lives. We have been we've had conflict, right? And we've had to maybe express ourselves in that conflict, and it's caused some hurt feelings. And this card is the card of, how do we move past this, okay? How do we get past past the battles in our life? First of all, we have to ask ourselves, are we in a place where we really want to be? maybe we're actually at a point where it's time for us to be focusing on the next phase rather than staying in conflict in a place that we don't want to be in, right? So I'm going to actually, this is a good card to have because, you know, it talks about like, how do we move beyond these types of feelings, right? So I'm going to try to find it here in the Curious Travels Tarot decks, like the first time I've cracked this puppy open. So let me see if I can get this quickly. All right, 5 of Swords, 50. Five of Swords is definitely like one of the tougher parts of the tarot, but I think we all have to we all have to deal with it, okay? So it says here, you may have been fighting. I'm going to hold the card up so you can see it while I'm reading this. So you may have been fighting very messy battles lately. I totally understand that. On the surface, it may seem as though you have won, but your relationships have suffered direly because of it. Was the conflict worth what you have lost? Will you choose to keep chugging away, headstrong and stubborn, or will you try to win back trust? This card calls you to check on your competitiveness, okay? Not everything is a threat, and not every battle needs to be fought. Holding grudges will only hurt you in the long term, so try to let go of the bitterness and seek out forgiveness instead. While it might be a blow to your pride, it may be well worth the effort. I mean, I think that, like, it is speaking to this kindness is a win-win, right? Because I think it's valid to, you know, if you feel like you've been wrong, to speak up. I mean, we don't want to stay silent about that. We don't want to just suck it up, as a lot of society has programmed us to do, I would say. But, you know, they programmed us to do that for their benefit, not for our benefit, right? So you do have to speak up, and sometimes you're going to speak up and you're going to go against what other people think is the way things should be, because they've been programmed for unhealthy things, right? So I think that the message here is to keep kindness in your heart as you are self-advocating for yourself, right? And you're not always going to be in agreement mode, and that's okay. But keep the kindness there. Realize, you know, when you're actually being competitive and it's no longer a win-win, it's actually a win-lose. And take a step back and reassess what you're doing, okay? So I just want to acknowledge all of you for self-advocating for yourself, and also for wanting to learn and to have inspiration, because you wouldn't even be here on this channel if you weren't like that. So I want to appreciate you, and I'm rooting for you every day in your life and what you're doing. And thank you so much for being here. One question I have for you: in the dailies of life, how are you nurturing yourself so that you can feel refreshed and feel alive every day, right? So that you can go on that next adventure. Think about that. Comment down below some ways that you take care of yourself and you nurture yourself and you create win-wins in your life. All right? Thank you so much for being here. Please like the video if you enjoyed it and have gotten to this point, because it will spread the word to many, many and afar and help create a kinder world. Thank you and have a great day.